Hi, my name is Daria Chernysheva, and I am the translator of Lucie Rico's novel FOWL EULOGIES, translated from the French into English. It is now available in English from World Editions. It has just come out last week, both in the UK and in the US, and is available at a bookshop near you. I will read you the synopsis of this novel, the blurb, and then I will share with you an extract from the first chapter of the novel. So this book is about our protagonist called Paule Rojas. Upon her mother's death, Paule, a vegetarian city dweller, returns to the chicken farm where she grew up. Pressured to fulfill her mother's last request, Paule rediscovers pleasure and meaning in running the old family business. Yet, eager to bring something of herself to a family tradition, Paule embarks on increasingly intricate ways of helping the chickens to self-actualize before their deaths. She records the chickens' life stories, adding them to the labels that decorate the vacuum-packed meat sent off to market, an individual biography for every chicken. But not all runs smooth in her childhood village. Paule finds she has few friends and many enemies. She's forced to spread her wings, relocate her livestock, and oversee the construction of an urban farm of never-before-seen practices and proportions. And to find out how the rest of the novel goes and how Paule's adventure in the city unfolds, you will have to read the rest of the book. But for now, I will share with you an extract from the second half of the first chapter, where Paule finds herself once again in her childhood home just after her mother's funeral. The highway sighs in the distance. The clouds reel across the sky, the line of the mountains partitions space. Remains of snow stick to the ground. The chair creaks. Paule craves air. She's breathing with her mouth open. On the living room wall, above the shelf displaying a porcelain family of chickens, the old rifle rests on its two hooks. Nothing has changed in the farmhouse these past 10 years. Here are the blue bookshelves full of newspapers nobody bothered to throw out. Here is the blood-red couch worn thin by poultry. These are the only spots of color between the stone walls and the stone floor. It makes Paule want to cry, being here again and feeling as if she, too, were part of the furniture. She gets up to drink, in no particular order, the alcohol abandoned in the fridge: red wine, white wine, vodka, muscat. Alcohol does not go off, it only loses its taste. Ma occupies the urn. Like a 3.5-liter ashtray made of metal, it sits on the kitchen table. It could pass for a simple decorative vase. Difficult to believe that all of Ma is contained in that thing. There should be a stray ring or a dental filling somewhere among the remains. And what if it's a different body that was brought back to the farmhouse? You can't recognize someone by their ashes alone. The thought makes Paule nervous, then she laughs. The only thing left to do before Paule can leave is fulfill Ma's last request: kill Theodore, the one-eyed. If only it were a matter of a well-placed blow with a knife and a dying gurgle. But no, it is a whole art. The warm body must be treated, the feathers plucked, the guts removed. And you have to know what to do with the carcass. On a farm, killing is not an end in itself. Death must be useful. Ma's, for instance, brought with it an inheritance: 300 chickens, 50 hens, and 10,000 euros. The deaths of the animals, in turn, have permitted 3 generations of the Rojas family to make a living. Paule must kill the chicken and then sell him. There can be no question of keeping the corpse here, of having a burial. She is preoccupied enough with Ma's ashes as it is. If Ma had been better with words, and surely, in the best of cases, it must be difficult to tell your child what exactly you expect of her. Perhaps she would have made it clear Paule was to take Theodore's body to the market. Paule reserves a stall for the day after tomorrow. She will sell Theodore for a good price, and then she will be free. It's what you do with a dead chicken, she keeps telling herself. Despite the rain, she goes outside without a coat. The viscous drops stick to her skin and pearl upon her nose. Strong noses have this ability to keep the raindrops from falling down. The chickens are running. There are many of them. They move like compact mass, vigorous, bobbing their heads rhythmically while their eyes remain fixed. The field stretches all the way to the neighboring vineyard belonging to the Fress family. The boundary is marked by a barbed wire fence. The Fresses had not shown up for the funeral. Theodore is dawdling among the chickens. It is easy to make him out. He is thin and quiet and has one gaping eye. From here, it looks as if the others surround him protectively, huddling their plump bodies against him. Now the chickens close in on Paule, thinking she has brought them something to eat. She had forgotten how they smell in the rain. They reek. She sidesteps them, but they are unbothered, running underfoot, a little aggressive, beaks out as if to say, "Quit walking all over the main dish and bring out the dessert already." Theodore moves slowly in their midst. Paule pushes his companions away. "It's okay, you know. It'll be all right." She grabs him forcefully and he does not resist. His feathers are soft, softer than skin, soft like a pillow or a stuffed toy. She wants to press him to her body. She feels for Theodore an affection spiked with jealousy, as if he were a brother who, quiet and docile, had remained at home to watch over their mutual progenitrix. Ma would have been capable of taking this chicken for a son, and, near the end, she would have failed to stomach the thought that he should outlive her. With Theodore under her arm, Paule goes back inside the farmhouse. If she's lost the knack, the death may be drawn out and painful. The other chickens better not see. Her hand is shaking. Theodore is not afraid. When Paule sets him down on the living room floor, he stays close, nipping affectionately at her shoes. He is not acquainted with violence. She would like to beg him to keep still, to be less gentle. In her mind's eye, scenes play themselves out. Ma laughing with Theodore, kissing Theodore, on the beak, perhaps. Or telling Theodore some sentimental story in a low voice, a tender voice that Paule had never known, and Theodore falling asleep, content, surrendering, shutting his one good eye. Perhaps they shared meals. Perhaps Ma ran by Theodore's side out in the field, her arthritic legs attempting to keep pace with the rhythm of his animal ones. She must have loved him very much. Paule looks around for help. He cannot die so simply. Some last request must be observed with ceremony. She seizes the condolence book from the hallway and scrawls on a blank page everything that comes to mind about Theodore. She writes how he was an active and gentle chicken, accustomed to devotion and tenderness, a chicken worthy of affection, occasionally a clown. She wants the people who are to consume him to know of his caliber. Theodore, his name uttered by Ma as her final word, the litany in these syllables. The sentences roll out. Paule writes the chicken. "You will not be forgotten, Theo." She grabs him by the wings. They thrash, and it frightens Paule to feel him so fragile between her fingers. Theodore attempts to free himself to no avail. Paule squeezes tighter at the level of his neck. Under the feathers, his heart beats hard and fast. He stabs at the air with his beak, his muscles strain. She increases the pressure. Minuscule bones shatter. The entire body caves. So much for Theodore's cries. A final breath, weightless, dissipates upon the air. So once again, that was an extract from Lucie Rico's FOWL EULOGIES, translated from the French by me, Daria Chernysheva. Thank you.